It was a day like any other at the bustling downtown restaurant. The air buzzed with lively conversations, the clinking of cutlery, and the enticing aroma of freshly prepared dishes. Families laughed over shared meals, friends celebrated milestones, and strangers enjoyed quiet moments at their tables. Amidst this vibrant atmosphere sat a young man at a corner table, quietly waiting for his order. This young man was none other than Barron Trump, the youngest son of former President Donald Trump. At first glance, he looked like any other diner, dressed casually and engrossed in his thoughts. But one item set him apart: a bright red MAGA hat perched on his head. For some, the hat was merely an accessory, a symbol of personal belief. But for others, it was a spark for division. As Barron sat, minding his own business, a wave of whispers spread through the restaurant. Glances were cast his way, some curious, others critical. The tension was subtle at first, but it soon became palpable. Among the murmurs and side eyes, the restaurant manager took notice. His expression shifted from neutral to concerned as he observed the growing unease among some patrons. After a moment of hesitation, he took a deep breath, straightened his posture, and began walking toward Barron's table. When the manager reached Barron, the young man looked up, his face calm and composed. The manager spoke softly but firmly, explaining that several customers had expressed discomfort with the hat he was wearing. He politely but insistently asked Barron to leave. The room fell silent as nearby patrons strained to hear the exchange. Barron listened intently, his demeanor unshaken. He didn't argue or raise his voice. Instead, he nodded, took off the hat, and rose from his seat. With quiet dignity, he thanked the manager and walked out of the restaurant. Outside, Barron paused, standing on the busy sidewalk as people hurried past. The cold air bit at his cheeks, but it wasn't the chill that weighed on him. Most people in his position might have been consumed by anger or frustration. After all, being asked to leave for simply wearing a hat could be seen as an affront to personal freedom. But Barron wasn't like most people. Instead of dwelling on the incident, he made a decision that would transform this moment into something far greater. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and made a call. The person on the other end wasn't a family member or a media contact. It was someone Barron trusted to help him turn this challenging moment into an opportunity for growth and understanding. Over the next few days, Barron channeled his energy into organizing something extraordinary, a community event with a simple yet profound purpose: to unite people from all walks of life, regardless of their political beliefs. The planning process was intense. Barron personally reached out to community leaders, local organizations, and individuals from diverse backgrounds. He wanted everyone to feel included, from staunch conservatives to progressive liberals. His message was clear. This event wasn't about politics. It was about humanity, about breaking bread together and finding common ground. As word spread about the event, curiosity grew. Some were skeptical, dismissing it as a publicity stunt. But those who knew Barron understood that his intentions were genuine. He wasn't looking for fame or headlines. He wanted to spark a conversation, to show that even in a world often divided by symbols and ideologies, there was still room for compassion and understanding. The day of the event arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. The venue, a large community center, was transformed into a welcoming space filled with long tables, adorned with simple but elegant decorations. Guests from all walks of life began to arrive, young and old, rich and poor, people of different races, religions, and political affiliations. At the center of it all was Barron, greeting attendees with a warm smile and a firm handshake. He made it a point to personally connect with as many people as possible, listening to their stories and sharing his vision for the day. When everyone was seated, Barron took to the stage. The room fell silent as he began to speak. His voice was steady, but there was a raw emotion in his words that resonated deeply with the crowd. He spoke about the incident at the restaurant, not with bitterness, but with a sense of purpose. "This isn't about a hat," he said, his eyes scanning the room. "It's about what the hat represents to different people. But more importantly, it's about how we choose to react when faced with our differences. We can let them divide us, or we can use them as an opportunity to learn from one another." Barron's speech was met with a standing ovation, but the real magic happened at the tables. As guests began to eat, conversations blossomed, strangers became friends, and preconceived notions melted away. People who might never have crossed paths friends were now sharing stories, laughing, and finding commonalities. The event quickly gained national attention. News outlets covered the story, highlighting how a young man had turned a moment of rejection into a powerful symbol of unity. Social media was abuzz with praise for Barron's initiative, with many calling it a beacon of hope in increasingly polarized times. In the days and weeks that followed, the impact of the event continued to ripple through the community and beyond. It became a reminder that even small actions, like responding to conflict with grace and kindness, could inspire monumental change. For Barron, the experience was a lesson in resilience and leadership. He had faced adversity and chosen not to retaliate, but to rise above. His actions spoke louder than words, proving that true strength lies in the ability to build bridges, not walls. And so, what began as a quiet lunch at a bustling restaurant became a story that touched hearts and changed minds. Barron Trump's response reminded the world that no matter how divided we may seem, there is always a way to come together. One conversation, one meal, one act of kindness at a time.